Canadian government has fallen. As we speak, I know, a chilling story. As we speak, marauding bands of rebel Inuit are storming Parliament on Beaverback, while embattled Prime Minister Stephen Harper orders Mounties to dump cauldrons of boiling maple syrup on them. It is the only story that anyone is talking about, so let's kick off my week-long coverage of in Canada.
Cut it out. Trying to watch the hockey, eh?
It's an imposing structure, but this 40th Parliament is much like a house of cards. One push and the Harper government will fall. At this committee, the opposition played one of its hands.
Mr. McGuinty.
Yes.
Voting to pass a report that recommends the Conservatives be found in contempt for failing to reveal the costs of a number of initiatives, like its tough-on-crime agenda.
That it has to start respecting Parliament, that it has to tell parliamentarians the truth, and it has to give us the real numbers.
I have the honour to present in both official languages the 28th...
The report was tabled in the House of Commons, and a vote later this week could defeat the government. But that's not the Tories' only problem. Today, they faced question...
How can Canadians remain trusting of a government guilty of such flagrant abuse of power?
After question.
Why would anybody believe a government that would allow influence peddlers and convicted felons into their inner circle?
Here, here.
Many of them focusing on Tory scandals. The latest, a former Harper aide lobbying for contracts.
Bruce Carson.
Mr. Carson. Bruce Carson.
Bruce Carson.
Mr. Carson.
Last week, APTN told you about Bruce Carson. He's the former aide to Prime Minister Stephen Harper. An APTN investigation discovered information that suggests he planned to use his contacts within the Prime Minister's office and throughout the federal government to help advance the interests of an Ottawa water company.
We talk on a regular basis. I talk to a number of his ministers on a regular basis.
His fiancée and escort stood to make millions through a deal between the company and Indian Affairs. The plan was to sell water filtration units to First Nations communities.
Nation, we've only begun to scratch the surface of this panic in the provinces. For more dramatic details, let's go to the BBC.
The no-confidence motion simply confirms the conclusions of a group of MPs that on Monday found the minority Conservative government of Prime Minister Stephen Harper in contempt of Parliament.
And there the papers being thrown up as history is made. 156 to 145. The Prime Minister is going to speak.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move, seconded by the Government House Leader, that the House do now adjourn.
Seconded by the Government House Leader, that the House do now adjourn.
Mr. Harper, seconded by Mr. Baird, moves that the House do now adjourn. The
pleasure of the House to adopt the motion. Agreed? I declare the motion carried.
And that is how the Conservative government of Stephen Harper falls. It's defeated. It won't be technically dissolved till he goes to see the Governor General. You see the Liberals now, they've won 156 to 145. And that is history, ladies and gentlemen. That is the first time in Canadian history that on a vote of non-confidence, a government has been found in contempt by Parliament, and this will kick off an election.
interpretation of the vote yesterday. Some people are saying that it should be interpreted as your government being found in contempt of Parliament for the first time in Canadian history. What is your response to that?
That was a parliamentary motion passed by the opposition parties. That is not the substance of this election or what the Canadian public care about. The Canadian public don't care about the maneuvers in Parliament and the wording of various motions. That is not the substance of this election or what the Canadian public care about. The Canadian public don't care about the maneuvers in Parliament and the wording.
Okay, I think that's enough coverage. Jimmy, we will not be needing this graphic anymore.